How's it going, everybody? This is Brian for Pop Culture Crossing, and today we are giving our predictions for the upcoming 89th Academy Awards. Several weeks back, we predicted the Golden Globes, but there we just gave our picks for the film nominations. Because the Academy Awards pertain to film, we are giving our predictions for every category, not just the more recognizable ones. As such, there are a lot of films nominated here, and I have not seen them all, but I keep my ear close enough to the ground in terms of the entertainment industry and Hollywood news that we'll be giving you our educated predictions. I also want to say that we have our written predictions up on our website at popculturecrossing.com, and this is a great resource if you want to compare our predictions with yours to what is actually happening as you're watching the Oscars. So I have my notes here, and without further ado, let's get into it. I want to start off also by saying that we'll be building and culminating at the Best Picture winner. So first up, we have visual effects. So we have Craig Hammack, Jason Snell, Jason Billington, Burt Dalton for Deepwater Horizon. We have Stephanie Soretti, Richard Bleff, Vincent Sorelli, and Paul Corbould for Doctor Strange. Next, we have Robert Legato, Adam Valdez, Andrew R. Jones, and Dan Lemon for The Jungle Book. Then we have Stephen Emerson, Oliver Jones, Brian McLean, Brad Schiff for Kubo and the Two Strings. And finally, we have John Knoll, Mohan Leo, Hal Hickel, Neil Corbould for Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. And I think The Jungle Book is going to be winning for visual effects. Next up, we have costume design, and we have Joanna Johnston for Allied, Colleen Atwood for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, Consolata Boyle for Florence Foster Jenkins, Madeline Fontaine for Jackie, and Mary Zophres for La La Land. I think this is a very strong category, and I think it's going to be a three-way battle between Allied, Jackie, and La La Land. It would be nice if more of a period piece like Allied or Jackie or even Florence Foster Jenkins or Fantastic Beasts, honestly, would win, but it seemed like there was talk that La La Land was definitely the front runner for the Costume Designer Guild Awards, so that's probably in the best position. But I think at the end of the day, it's gonna be Jackie or La La Land, and man, this is tough. I think Jackie will win for costume design. Makeup and hairstyling, we have Ava Von Baer and Love Larson for A Man Called Uwe, Joel Harlow and Richard Alonso for Star Trek Beyond, and finally Alessandro Bertolazzi, Giorgio Giorgini, and Christopher Nelson for Suicide Squad. I think here it's going to be between Star Trek Beyond and Suicide Squad, and I think the Suicide Squad team will be taking it for their work there in terms of makeup and hairstyling. For music, for original song, we have the song Audition, The Fools Who Dream from La La Land, with music by Justin Hurwitz and lyrics by Benji Pasek and Justin Paul. Next up, we have Can't Stop the Feeling from the movie Trolls, with music and lyrics by Justin Timberlake, Max Martin, and Carl Johan Schuster. Third, we have City of Stars from La La Land, music by Justin Hurwitz, lyrics by Benji Pasek and Justin Paul. And then we have The Empty Chair, which is a song from Jim, the James Foley Story, with music and lyrics by Jay Ralphs and Sting. Finally, we have the song How Far I'll Go from Moana, with music and lyrics by Lin-Manuel Miranda. I think City of Stars is definitely going to take the Oscar for original song. In terms of music for original score, we have Mika Levi for Jackie, Justin Hurwitz for La La Land, Dustin O'Halloran and Hauschka for Lion, Nicholas Brittle for A Moonlight, and Thomas Newman for Passengers. And I think Hurwitz is gonna take it for La La Land and sealing it for its win in the music categories. Next up, we have production design, and here we have for production design Patrice Vermette and set decoration Paul Hota for Arrival. Then we have production design for Stuart Craig and set decoration for Anna Pinnock for Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Third, we have production design for Jess Goncher and set decoration by Nancy Hay for Hail Caesar. And then we have production design for David Wasco and set direction for Sandy Reynolds Wasco for La La Land. And finally, we have production design for Guy Hendricks Diaz and set decoration for Gene Sorenda for Passengers. Here, I think it's going to come between Passengers and Hail Caesar. And, I mean, Hail Caesar is in a good position because that was kind of, really a quote-unquote Hollywood fair type of movie. But Passengers had really neat work in terms of sci-fi. So this is also a tough category, but I think Passengers will end up taking the Oscar for production design. The next category we have is sound mixing, and we have Bernard Garipi Straub and Claude LeHaye for Arrival, Kevin O'Connell and Andy Wright, as well as Robert McKenzie and Peter Grace for Hacksaw Ridge, Andy Nelson, Eileen Lee, and Stephen A. Murrow for La La Land, David Parker, Christopher Scarabosio, Stuart Wilson for Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and Greg P. Russell, Gary Summers, and Jeffrey J. Haubush, and Mac Ruth for 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Here, I think La La Land will win, probably quite handily. For sound editing, which is distinct but still related in terms of the audio of the movie, we have Sylvain Bellemare for Arrival, Wiley Stateman and Renee Tondelli for Deepwater Horizon, Robert McKenzie and Andy Wright for Hacksaw Ridge, Eileen Lee and Mildred Ayatu Morgan for La La Land, and Alan Robert Murray and Bub Asman for Sully. Here, I think it's going to be between La La Land and Hacksaw Ridge, and don't be surprised if La La Land takes it home. But I could easily see Hacksaw Ridge sneaking in there, but at the end of the day, I think La La Land. Also, I just want to say, really, just overall in terms of the makeup of the Academy Awards for this year, I think it's really going to be between La La Land and Moonlight when push comes to shove. So the next category we have is film editing, and we have Joe Walker for Arrival, John Gilbert for Hacksaw Ridge, Jake Roberts for Hell or High Water, Tom Cross for La La Land, and Nat Sanders and Joy McMillan for Moonlight. So here, both Arrival and La La Land, I believe, each won the film editing awards for different categories, but they each took home film editing awards. So really, it's going to be between those two, I would say. And here, I think Joe Walker for Arrival will take that one home. Next up, we have foreign language film, and we have Land of Mine from Denmark, A Man Called Uwe from Sweden, The Salesman from Iran, Tana from Australia, and Tony Erdmann from Germany. So here, I think it's definitely going to be between A Man Called Uwe and The Salesman, and I think A Man Called Uwe will inch ahead of The Salesman and take home the Oscar for foreign language film. For documentary of short subject, we have Extremis, 4.1 Miles, Joe's Violin, Watani, My Homeland, and The White Helmets. Here, I think it's going to be between 4.1 Miles and Joe's Violin. And this one's also tough. I think Joe's Violin will, like I said, it could easily go either way, but I think Joe's Violin, at the end of the day, will take home the trophy for documentary of short subject. Next up, we have documentary for feature. We have Fire at Sea, I'm Not Your Negro, Life Animated, OJ Made in America, and 13th. And here I think OJ Made in America will handily be able to win that category. For cinematography, we have Bradford Young for Arrival, Linus Sandgren for La La Land, Greg Fraser for Lion, James Laxton for Moonlight, and Rodrigo Prieto for Silence. And I think Lion with Greg Fraser is gonna win for cinematography. For writing original screenplay, we have Taylor Sheridan for Hell or High Water, Damien Chazelle for La La Land, Yorgos Lanthimos and Efthimis Philippou for The Lobster, Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea, and Mike Mills for 20th Century Women. And as you see with the writing categories and the upcoming directing categories, there are quite a few writer-directors this year for the Oscar nominations. And I also want to note, Moonlight is up for Adapted Screenplay, but it won the Writers Guild of America Award for Original Screenplay. So I'm not sure where the nuance there is and how it was able to, for one set of awards, be interpreted as an original screenplay and for the next as an adapted one. So that's a bit odd to me, and I just want to bring that to your guys' attention as well. Anyways, for writing original screenplay, I think Damien Chazelle for La La Land will take this trophy home. For writing adapted screenplay, we have Eric Heiserer for Arrival, August Wilson for Fences, Alison Schroeder and Theodore Melfi for Hidden Figures, Luke Davies for Lion, and Barry Jenkins for screenplay, and Terrell Alvin McCraney for the story of Moonlight. So here, I think Moonlight is probably pretty clearly gonna win this category. But like I said, I just don't really understand how, you think what would be original is just original, and it doesn't really matter for whose awards they are. They get to decide if it's original or adapted, but it's like, that's strange. But anyways, for the writing categories, we're going to have Moonlight and La La Land. For short film of live action, we have Ennemi Intérieur, La Femme et le TGV, Silent Nights, Sing, and Timecode. I think it's going to be between Ennemi Intérieur and Silent Nights. And at the end of the day, I think Silent Nights will win for the short film live action. For short film animated, we have Blind Baisha, Borrowed Time, Pear Cider and Cigarettes, Pearl, and Piper. And I think Piper will take the award there. Animated feature film, we have Kubo and the Two Strings, Moana, My Life as a Zucchini, The Red Turtle, and Zootopia. And at this point, if you don't think Zootopia is going to win, I don't know what to tell you, but Zootopia is going to win. Alright, and for the last few categories, we have for actress in a supporting role, Viola Davis for Fences, Naomi Harris for Moonlight, Nicole Kidman for Lion, Octavia Spencer for Hidden Figures, and Michelle Williams for Manchester by the Sea. And I think the signs are pretty clear that it's going to be Viola Davis for Fences. For actor in a supporting role, we have Mahershala Ali for Moonlight, Jeff Bridges for Hell or High Water, Lucas Hedges for Manchester by the Sea, Dev Patel for Lion, and Michael Shannon for Nocturnal Animals. Also here, I think Mahershala Ali for Moonlight is probably quite easily going to win. Now, actress in a leading role, we have Isabel Huppert for Elle, Ruth Negga for Loving, Natalie Portman for Jackie, Emma Stone for La La Land, and Meryl Streep for Florence Foster Jenkins. Also, like with Viola, the writing's on the wall here. It's going to be Emma Stone. I'm actually kind of surprised how shut out Jackie has been. I did predict that it would win for one of the costuming awards. But just in general, I remember back at the end of the summer and early fall at the film festivals how Jackie was like the film to beat. And I would have thought that Jackie would have been cleaning up in the award season here, but that just isn't the case. And that shows you that Just because a film is doing well and has a lot of buzz around a film festival doesn't mean that that's gonna sustain it and that it'll have that tail and translate into actual award season success. So, nevertheless, Emma Stone for La La Land. Actor in a leading role, we have Casey Affleck for Manchester by the Sea, Andrew Garfield for Hacksaw Ridge, Ryan Gosling for La La Land, Viggo Mortensen for Captain Fantastic, and Denzel Washington for Fences. Here, it's going to be between Casey Affleck and Denzel Washington. On the one hand, we had Affleck win the Golden Globes, and then Denzel surprised everyone when he won the SAG Award. And the SAG, the Screen Actors Guild, is the largest voting bloc within the Academy, so it could very well go to Washington. And like I said, it's definitely going to be between these two here. And, man, this is so tough. I think, it is so hard. I think Casey will end up taking actor in a leading role, but do not be surprised if and when Denzel gets up there and accepts the award. For directing, we have Denis Villeneuve for Arrival, Mel Gibson for Hacksaw Ridge, Damien Chazelle for La La Land, Kenneth Lonergan for Manchester by the Sea, and Barry Jenkins for Moonlight. For this category, I definitely say it's going to be between Chazelle and Jenkins, and I think Chazelle is going to pull it out for La La Land. Alright, so the final category, drum roll, we have Best Picture, and the nominees are Arrival, Fences, Hacksaw Ridge, Hell or High Water, Hidden Figures, La La Land, Lion, Manchester by the Sea, and Moonlight. So I want to note here that the PGA, or the Producers Guild of America, typically and traditionally is a good indicator of who will win the Academy Award. If it wins the PGA, it has a strong chance of taking home the Oscar. And from 2005 to 2015, they've been wrong only 3 times. But those 3 times, in 2005, the PGA was awarded to Brokeback Mountain, and the Oscar was awarded to Crash. 2006, Little Miss Sunshine took the PGA, and The Departed won the Academy Award. And just last year, The Big Short took home the PGA Award, and Spotlight was given the Oscar for Best Picture. So there is a 70% chance that the PGA would be right this year, and La La Land won the PGA Award this year, but 70% is not a home run by any means, and it could easily go to another film. And like I said earlier, I think it's really going to come down to La La Land and Moonlight. Now, the Academy is a little bit different. Sometimes people may think if the Academy awards a lot of Oscars to a specific film, they may try to balance it out and be like, well, this film won a lot, so let's give this other film the award here, type of thing. And La La Land, as I'm predicting, is going to win a lot. So it's tough to say if it's going to be La La Land or Moonlight. But at the end of the day, La La Land has had strong, sustained award season success. More so than I would say Moonlight has. Moonlight has definitely won in certain aspects and respects. But by and large, I would say La La Land is definitely more of the juggernaut here. But then again, I just brought up the dilemma of maybe the Academy might want to balance something out here. That being said, I think La La Land is going to win. It's going to be really tough, but I think La La Land will win. So those are my picks for the Academy Awards. Let me know your thoughts and your predictions in the comments below and across Pop Culture Crossing's social media channels. Also, don't forget that we have podcast audio versions of our reviews and predictions available on iTunes and Google Play and podcast services. So be sure you subscribe there so you can listen on the go. And as I said at the top of the video, Be sure to check popculturecrossing.com for our written predictions so you can compare our choices with your picks live as the Oscars are happening and films are winning. So let me know your thoughts and we'll keep the conversation alive with disappointments or home runs that we thought we had lined up during the Academy Awards. I'll most likely be live tweeting, so be sure to follow along there and interact on Sunday night as well. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Bye.